The caption is absolutely right. My ex-wife cheated on me. Not once. Wait, my glasses kind of matches my car, but I kind of like it.
Hi guys, I felt like I needed to set things straight about what my ex has been uploading on his channel. First of all, I filed for divorce. I wanted a divorce. I wanted to get out from the toxic marriage, and I wanted to get out from him. And it was a very abusive relationship. I was not happy. He made certain videos purposely to ruin me, crush me, and destroy me. Both of us are at fault.
Hello and welcome to another day in paradise, and welcome to another edition of the Unapologetic Negropian. In today's video, Lily Petals and her husband James, or should I say her former husband, because she has finally finalized her divorce from her Kenyan husband. So I know some of you guys may not know who this couple is. I didn't really know who they were. Let's just say that the YouTube algorithm brought us together because they kept popping up as my suggestion for me to watch for some reason or another. It's probably because I've been doing a lot of videos lately about multiracial or multi-ethnic couples and how they find life a little bit more difficult. So guys, you know that I am currently in a multiracial relationship, but I have been in other relationships before in the past, and I have experience and know why, if I ask myself the real tough questions, why things don't always pan out. I spoke about this in a video only a couple of days ago. I spoke about how sometimes the communication can be difficult when you are crossing nationalities, ethnicities, racial borders. There is only a few things that can keep a couple together in those circumstances, and I believe that is love. Love is the one thing that really transcends everything else. If you have true, pure, unadulterated love for your partner, then you don't need to worry about all those things. It will always work out. That's the way I see it anyway. Lily Petals is South Korean and her ex-husband James is from Kenya, and they were with each other for almost 12 years. They have 2 children with one another. So this wasn't some flash in the pan relationship. So many channels out there with these people doing everything in their power to bring themselves internet stardom because of their multi-ethnic, multi-racial relationship. Guys, it's getting ridiculous. Come on, get a real job. What are you doing? But for real, come on. You're going to need more than just a different color of skin and different cultural background in order to make yourselves big on the internet. You need a bit of personality too. But in reality, this couple had that personality. Well, at least James did anyway. So things have started to blow up with these two at this moment because, well, let's just say that there is communities out there, guys, that you don't know about, and we're going to delve deep into one of them today. First, I'm going to ask you to please like, subscribe, share, click the bell notification, and please consider supporting the channel on our Patreon, link in the description. I'd also like to invite you to please follow the OVVERSIGHT channel, the channel that is there to help you to invest on the African continent both safely and securely, link also in the description. So first of all, guys, we need to ask ourselves, who is this couple? Lily Petals, who is South Korean, and James, who is Kenyan. They both live in the United States. They both live in Salt Lake City, Utah, and they are busy bringing up their 2 beautiful daughters. And Lily Petals is a full-time YouTuber. She has gone all in, and she's doing well for herself. It's over 700,000 subscribers. And of course, that will bring in enough money for her to live full-time off YouTube. So that's very good for her and very good for her children. She's going to need it because now that they have divorced, it seems as though James was the more business-savvy guy. So he's the guy, he's the main breadwinner. Lily James first shot to YouTube stardom when she made a video, and she called the video "Why I Love Black Men." And this blew up, okay? Got millions and millions of views on YouTube. Oh, this is the video that brought her prominence. She's not a bad looking woman too. So of course there were lots of men who started watching her videos and was attracted to her and attracted to her nuanced styling. And she is a nuanced person because there aren't many women in South Korea who are totally focused on black men. And so I thought, when I was doing the research for this video, my God, I typed into YouTube, Lily Petals, Why I Love Black Men. Boom! Boom! All I saw was this whole new multiverse, a whole community of Asian women, hundreds of thousands of them, who are purely focused and doing everything in their power to find themselves a black man. It's pretty funky. Okay, I don't think we associate ourselves with Asian women, especially South Asian women, going after African men, and this is predominantly who they are looking for, predominantly African men.
Would you date someone outside of your race or country?
Yeah, I want to do many experience.
So live another race like black, brown. Okay.
There is one thing actually that I did see that was different in the Asian community of women that were out there looking for these black men. And the difference is that there wasn't a community of women out there who were putting their men down. They didn't put their men down. They were looking for black men. They wanted black men. They loved black men. They had everything positive to say about black men. But they never really spoke negative or ill of their own men. You know, they saw black men as being something that should be held on a pedestal. And why not? Right? They did see them in that way. They put them up there and they said, okay, these guys are the kings. You know, these are the kings. Everybody else, they are followers. Okay, and these guys are the leaders. This is what we want. Okay, fair enough. But they never said anything directly negative, although it can be perceived as they were saying something negative about their own men. Okay, I'm sure there were positive aspects to being in a relationship, like I have already spoken about many times, about being in a relationship with someone of your own kin, of your own ethnicity, of your own race. But they saw black men as being something special, but they didn't see their own men as being something that should be disrespected, that they should be looked down upon, that they should look down upon them like they are something lesser, okay? This is what they didn't do. And, you know, I've got to be honest with you. There are communities of black women. We know this. We've seen the community called the divestment community. They openly express their disdain for men of their own kin. You know, they say it all the time, and they say it quite confidently as well, which is really weird. Okay, it really says a lot about those types of people. But they're not the only people who do this. I've seen women of European origin as well say very similar things about their own men. I've heard women of their own origin say, I will never be with a European man ever. I've had multiple women say this about European men. I will never be with a European man ever. Which is really, I mean, I can say that it's strange, right? I can say that it's strange. And there could be reasons for why they would say these types of things about men of their own kin. I doubt, you know, maybe there is a past traumatic event, maybe, who knows, okay? But that is one thing that I saw in this community, which was unique to this community. I think it would be interesting for you to take a listen to what her reasons why she wanted to find a black man. Take a listen to this.
Hi guys, this is Lily. Well, today I'm gonna talk about why I love black men. Friends of mine, obviously, you know, like from Korea and stuff, you know, they question me like, why why black men? Like out of all other men out there, like why did I choose a black man? Well, I'm gonna tell you why I love black men. First of all, really fun. I never really met any single black man who is extremely boring, okay? They're usually really fun to be with, and they're quite humorous and quite talkative too, and I like people who talk a lot. Usually they have good body, amount of like muscles in their body, and yeah, it's usually looking nice. And the third thing that I really like about black men is their fat lips.
Okay, so I agree with some of what she says, and I may disagree with others. We're not all like that, are we? And I think to heap us all into one boat and say that we are all talkative and we are all having a great sense of humor. Come on, guys, we know our community. Look at the men inside our community. We already know that that's not the case, don't we? So this couple got married 12 years ago. They have been living a life largely on YouTube. So this YouTube channel had been up for, and is still now going strong, 9 years later. And they seems to be doing okay. The only problem is that, well, the relationship was not doing okay. People could start to see that the relationship was starting to fray at the corners. They were looking at lilypetals' body language. They were watching the way she was having breakdowns, but she wasn't actually mentioning the reasons why she was having these breakdowns, why she was crying when she was going to Kenya with her husband, why she was having these emotional outbursts on YouTube. She didn't explain why until lately, and then she started to come out with the reasons why. She started talking about her husband, how he had been not taking care of her right. I don't want to say the A-B word, okay? But he weren't taking care of her right. He weren't doing the right things. Now I've got to say this. I've got to look at both of these people, and I need to ask the question, what initiated this divorce? And when you take a look at these two personalities, it is clear, actually, that these two people, they weren't actually made for one another. You could just see that there is a contrast in these two personalities. This guy, James, he is outward, he is overt, he is loud, he is brash, he is confident, he is charismatic. This guy has it all going for him. lilypetals is a little bit more reserved in her persona. However, it is her internet persona, the way she puts herself on camera, which speaks volumes. You could tell that lilypetals is fake. She is very, very fake. Now, I've explained to you before, this is perfectly okay. There are plenty of people out there who have YouTube channels who have a different persona when they put themselves in front of the camera. And this is for any number of reasons, but they use a different persona. It's never the real person that you are seeing when you see a person on camera. And this is a problem for some people, definitely for me. I like to see authenticity in a person, personally, okay? Which is seldom something you will see on YouTube. However, there are many people who don't mind about that, and clearly they have over 700,000 subscribers to their name. So there are people who are wanting to watch their content and don't really mind about the fakeness. So whose fault is it? Why are these two breaking up? Is it any one of their fault? Well, you could blame James, because if you look at his reaction, the way he has been making videos after this divorce, it's pretty clear to see that he kind of is taking it in his stride. However, it doesn't seem to be emotionally involved in that breakup. It's like, oh yeah, we've broken up, a 12-year relationship with my family, my two girls, my two daughters. Oh, yeah. Take a look at my garage here. Oh, I finished the back garden today. And he just seems to be very, I don't know, happy-go-lucky about the situation. This is your family, your whole family that you have obliterated with the stroke of a pen, okay? You didn't even bother try and commit to making sure you could resolve the problems in your family, as your family should always confess, should always be number one. You should sacrifice yourself for your family. And he doesn't seem to have done that. So this speaks volumes. This actually tells me that he may be the culprit when it comes to the genesis of the problems that finally made this marriage crumble. However, you do also need to look at Lily herself. This woman is extremely fake. I already said this before, but guys, take a look at some of her thumbnails. This is what we are talking about. Yeah, it's crazy, you know. No more abuse. I want to go back to Korea. She's posing for all these thumbnails. Okay, I've done it a few times as well, but I always make a joke out of it. I don't act as if I'm crying on this is crazy, you know, and she's not the only person that does it. That's clear to see, you know. There was another woman that got in trouble for this not long ago, right?
Come here, come closer for the video, come closer. I'm closer. I'm closer. Put your head right here. Come closer. Closer down. Put your head down here. Act like you're crying. Really quick.
I am crying.
Go like this.
No, Mom, I'm not just usually crying.
No, I know, but go like this for the video. Go like this. Put one hand up. Go like this. No, go like this. Put your hand like this. But let them see your mouth. Let them see your mouth.
Yeah, so she's not the only person that does it, but I just find something so, I don't know, fake about people doing everything in their power to convey emotion over a photograph so I can sell it. Oh, I'm going to break up my family. I need a photograph. We need a photograph, don't we? It's crazy. I don't like it personally myself. Like I said, I like people when they convey some honesty, some truthfulness, some authenticity, something that shows me who you really are. I like people when they wear their emotions on their sleeve and they are unapologetic about it. These people are not those types of people. I think the worst part about this falling out is the children. They clearly do not want this couple to break up, and they have voiced it. We can now see it happening on YouTube. It's sad that they are having to play this all out for YouTube for money. You know, they are pushing these videos out more. They don't like the drama, but they like pushing it out there because it gets them views. These guys are totally fixated on views and on the amount of money they can make from this situation. Their children are an afterthought. Oh yeah, well, you know, how are they faring? They'll do okay. It's really as if they've hung their dirty washing out to dry, and they want everybody else to see it because it's going to benefit them monetarily. It doesn't really matter, you know, how the children feel about it. If it really mattered, if the children really mattered, they'd have never broken up in the first place. Guys, I know you're here. You want my opinion? I'm going to give you my opinion. I do believe that the demise of this relationship, the destruction of this marriage, the obliteration of this beautiful family came about by the two people that you see on your screen. It all came about by both of them. I think that there is dysfunction in both of them. In the beginning, when you had this beautiful girl that came into their lives really early on in their relationship, I don't think that it had that much of an impact. I think they both loved each other's nature. I think that they both fit with each other well in the beginning. She was a little more submissive, Korean woman, well-mannered, quiet and unassuming, but still open and had her nuanced way of dealing with subjects and matters and speaking about those things on YouTube. And then you had this really charismatic, good-looking Kenyan man, this business-savvy guy, a man with tons of confidence, someone who doesn't mind speaking his mind. And then you had this child, and this as a family unit worked. It worked perfectly. YouTube early on in their lives, in the first few years, it helped them, but they didn't see it as something which was or should have been taken seriously until the real money started coming in. When that real money started coming in and they started to realize that documenting their family's journey online was something that they should be doing in order to make money, as a serious proposition to living or having a normal job or normal income, then I think these guys started to come a lot more fake. They stopped believing in their marriage, and they stopped believing, more importantly, in each other. But I will say this, I think whilst both James and Lily were both the problem, I think James was a person that could have done more to have saved his marriage. He is the man in this relationship, and I think he had a lot more control over what happened with that relationship, more so than Lily did. But I think Lily as a person is partly responsible for continuing to have this relationship continue for the whole 12 years. I think she is the person that tried to smooth over the cracks in the facade that you could see out on YouTube, and I think she tried to bring that back into her real world. Eventually, it was always going to break apart. There wasn't much that she could do about this, but the fact that she managed to keep this relationship together for 12 years, I've got to give her some kudos for that. So what can we learn from this? Guys, there are plenty of these mixed race, multi-ethnic relationships out there, guys. Social media can have an ill effect on your relationship. It's happened to me in the very beginning. I know that when social media first came out, I know there are a ton of men out there that had a lot of problems with speaking to and communicating with other women and realizing how easy it was, and then getting caught, and then it causing problems in your relationship. But over time, it can also erode at your relationship, just like it did with Lily Petals and James. They probably didn't even see it coming until it was too late. So guys, as you can see, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Things can go wrong, things can go bad, no matter who you're with. So we can take away from this, find the right person, okay guys? Don't jump into a relationship based purely on aesthetics or on things which aren't really going to drive a relationship for a prolonged period of time. If you have a man who's funny, who's nice, who is, you know, good in bed, doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be a good father to your children if you have children with him in the future, okay? So these are the types of things you need to look at. It doesn't matter how good looking they are. It doesn't matter how much money they have. It doesn't matter how good they are in the sack. It doesn't matter how funny they are or how often they keep you entertained. Ultimately, loyalty, respect, dignity, honor, integrity, those things are the things you need to be looking at in a human being that you are planning to spend the rest of your life with. It's just a shame for Lily and James and their two daughters that they managed to find this out when it was all too late. Until the next time, please think twice. Torah a bit.